Alright, YouTubers, welcome back. My name's Dave, like always. And you found do it yourself, do it right. Got my Suzuki hat on. Got the Suzuki on the lift. Needs some more work. If you've been following along, you know what kind of work it is. It's electrical. So let's get into it. For those of you that have not been following along with this bike, I bought it off from Bring a Trailer from a gentleman. Said there was nothing wrong with it. Sure, I've had nothing but electrical issues with it. Runs good, rides good. The electrical issues, well, I basically rewired the whole battery circuit. Check that video out. It's over my head if you're watching on your phone. I don't think it shows up on your TV. Anyways, I've got, can't see, probably about 100 miles on it since I redid all that wiring, and it's died on me probably two more times, and I've narrowed it down to the rear brake. For some reason, when I use the rear brake, it wants to kill the motorbike. And I've been testing it. And what it's been doing now is it's blowing the fuse that goes to the battery. And then I got to carry fuses to put back in there and just not use the rear brake. That's probably what most of y'all are thinking. Just not use the rear brake and just ride the bike and use the front brake. Well, the problem with my front brake is that the front brake, this little switch up in here, is not making the tail light, the brake light, come on. So, been using the back switch, the back brake, to get the brake light to come on so people know when I'm slowing down. So, it's time to dive into this wiring, to this switch right there. It's just got two little plug-ins, runs up through, does a thing under the seat. I will say that I did go ahead and find and source and buy a whole new wiring harness for this bike. I have not gotten it in the mail yet. It's Christmas time. The mail is slow. I don't expect them to send it super fast or get here super fast because I didn't pay for super fast shipping.
God damn it.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of an exploratory, again, see what I can find, bring you guys along with it. And if I don't find anything, well, the next time you see me will be replacing the whole wiring harness, which I have to say that the wiring harness was only 50 bucks. Probably should have looked into that before I did all the other wiring. Anyways, let's start taking parts off this bike. So what I'm going to do is, now I got the seat off and the side cover off, got whatever wrenches I'm going to need. I'm going to start from the back and work my way forward. There's really not much to this system. I will say that it is an original 1970 made in Japan wiring harness that's still on this thing, and it does look like there's been a connection made here because there's some heat shrink. Don't understand why they wouldn't have just put this end here and instead of making a connection and then a connection. I don't know. Whomever has worked on this bike before me is just cobbled this thing together. I really hate to say it, but it's definitely something. All right, so here's the wiring that goes. Oh boy, where's that going into? Oh boy, so that ain't that a bunch of fun. The two wires that go down to the switch is part of the whole wiring harness. And well, I'm just going to unplug those two, pull it up so I can inspect the wires and go from there. But there are some rubs on it. Oh, what do we have there? I don't think that's all the way through. All right. I'm gonna, like I said, starting back, I'm gonna take these loose because the 3 wires coming off from the tail light goes underneath. Well, is it not a 10? It is kind of a 10. The 3 wires go underneath here, and I want to make sure that it's not rubbing on there. The tail light on a Honda is much more of a pain in the butt to pull apart than this one. This one's readily accessible. I don't really see any issues there. So we're gonna slide. There's like a little keeper here. I'm gonna slide those wires back down into that keeper. It is a metal keeper, so you know I'm gonna wrap that up with some electrical tape before I do that. A little bit of up close and personal. What I'm talking about is there's like this little metal keeper right here, and these wires slide down in there. And if you look, they're not rubbed through. But since I have it apart and I'm having electrical issues, I'm just gonna wrap some electrical tape around them, each one of those little wires, and around the whole thing, and slide it in there just for peace of mind. So I wrapped it up, put the little keeper over, wrapped the little wires right, hopefully. Well, I guess I need to add a little bit to where it comes out on the end right there. And then we can put it all back. I just rang it, make sure it wasn't ringing the ground. So hopefully I can eliminate the wiring from here back. There we go. Added a little bit more for a little safety. Let's put it back on. Next segment of wires, after I basically hooked it all back up, checked to make sure that the bulb was still working, so all the stuff that I just did didn't cause it not to work. These weird little connections here, those are for the blinkers. I'm not having an issue with the blinkers yet, so my next segment is this guy here. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm basically just gonna ring the wires out, continuity, check for ringing the ground, which would be shorting out, and go from there. If you guys don't know how to do that, continuity, you know, you plug in one end. Let's see, we want the white, which is right here, and then we go to the white up here. Okay, rings out. Wasn't super strong, but at least it rang out. It's probably because I can't really get up in there to a good connection. Let's do brown. Brown is good. Black and white. Black and white here. We know it has continuity because the light worked, but the question is, will they ground out to themselves or ground out to the bike itself? when you're messing around with these. None of these look terrible. This is an original wiring harness. Well, at least it looks like it is. I don't think this would be, I don't see anything here that would be my problem. But I'm just gonna do that and see if they ring to ground. So I gotta say that I have not found anything definitive, which is not good. I literally just tested the switch. What I did was put my multimeter on each one of the plugins, ran the switch, got continuity, no continuity, continuity, no continuity. And then I tested it to short to ground. Kept one on one of the plugins. Tested the back shells, the metal, the motorcycle frame, everything to see if it was possibly grounding out. No issues there. So I don't think it's the switch either. I just haven't found anything that screams, look at me, I'm the problem. I'm going to plug these two wires back in. So I think what I'm going to do is just going to wait till I get that wiring harness plugged in. Wait till I get that whole new wiring harness. Ooh, I left the battery on. That's not good. And just go ahead and replace the whole thing and see if that fixes my problem. So I will see you when the wiring harness shows up in the mail. All right, bike is back together. Let's see if I can get it to fail. Basically, the last time I got it to fail, I just hit the brake. Bike died, started it up, hit the brake, bike died, started it up, hit the brake, the bike died, and I blew the fuse. Let's see. Keys on, headlight, is the headlight on? The headlight on, let's start without the headlight on. Oh. Headlights on, taillights on. See? Alright, but the light is still on. Light works. And it's still on. Still doing it. That is so weird. I don't know. You guys tell me. Put your comments below. I've never ran into an issue like this. Does it sometimes, doesn't do it other times? Is it electrical? Is it to the brake? I have no idea. I'm pretty stumped. It's a couple days later. Got the wiring harness in the mail. Got it from Niche Cycles. If you want the part number, put a comment below if you're working on one of these bikes. I got my manual out, schematic. Basically went through and identified what all these were. Ignition, coils, ignition switch. This is the horn wiring. This is all the wiring up front for your lights. Let's see, what do we got here? We have the rear tail lights, ground. This is your blinker. Yeah, blinker relay. Then we got the brake light switch. You get the point. While I was doing that, I also rang it out. Just because I've never bought one of these wiring harnesses before, and I always trust but verify. So that's done. Gonna pull the bike back apart, put the wiring harness on. Not going to bore you with a step-by-step. Just throw you on a time lapse and you can see me do the work. Turns out, per the schematic, this wiring harness is correct. Sorry if you hear the washing machine behind me. Per what's on the bike, that wiring harness is not correct. Now, let me show you something. My book here is a Suzuki 250 350. It says all. The problem is it doesn't tell me what age, what year bikes. It says 64 and on, but this bike is a 71 and it is wired differently after much consideration, it's wired differently than what's in this book, this schematic. So, in the schematic, it doesn't show this connection here. And this connection here has a green and white wire that comes off from the switch, or supposed to come off the switch. Per that wiring harness, it's supposed to come off the switch. Per my switch, there's no green and white wire. There's no red and white wire. The connections are completely different. To make matters worse, those wires come all the way up here, and then they come all the way back to here. And again, there's no provisions for the white and green and red and green wires back here. So what am I going to do? I don't know. Y'all tell me what I should do. Should I just put it back together? Search for stripped wires. I did find one issue. Reason why my lever, the brake for my lever wasn't working, well, it's because the orange wire was disconnected in here. So I can have my brake light working and not use the foot brake. Is the foot brake even an issue? Is that what's causing the issue? I don't know. So basically the story, the gist of this video is I don't know. I'm gonna have to ponder. I'm gonna have to do some research. You would think that this thing wouldn't be that much of a wiring issue, nightmare, dilemma, different wiring harness than what it's supposed to be. But it is. So the saga continues. I'm gonna put all this stuff back together, I guess. I'm gonna start it up, make sure all my blinkers and lights, and make sure it's back to where it was, at least to where I can ride it. And I'll just carry a fuse or 3 or 5 in my pocket and go from there. So if you like this kind of stuff, like, tag, share, follow, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Like always. Till next time, thanks a lot.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard. Everyone's laughing, by the way, but it's true because everybody's heard it too. Everyone heard it, right? They look at all, everyone's like, yeah, big piece of dog shit.